Hello friends, the topic for today's discussion is nucleus breeding scheme. So the nucleus breeding scheme is a breeding method where two things are ensured. The first is the conservation of any livestock breed or species whose survival is at risk, and the second is the improvement of genetic or genetic improvement of the stock which we are having. So with these two purpose, nucleus breeding scheme has the idea of nucleus breed scheme has been conceived. So first we will see what is nucleus breeding scheme. So the nucleus breeding scheme is characterized by limited number of female animals with genetic superiority. So what is there in nucleus breeding scheme? The first, there will be nucleus which consists of the superior female animal. So this is very important, this superior female animal. So female animals will constitute the nucleus. It is not that only female animals will be there, but this female animal will act as a bull mother. So in future they will produce bulls or bulls of high genetic merit whose semen will be collected and that will be sent to the field for actual improvement of the commercial herd or multiplier herd that we will see in the later slides. So these animals are recorded for large number of traits. Why? Because we need to know all the performance of the these superior animals. So the performance as well as all the aspect of these animals will be recorded, and this will actually constitute the nucleus herd. So now next is the scientific managers takes the decision on selection and mating in the nucleus. So in nucleus tier or at nucleus level, the management of animal, either it is breeding management or general management, all the things will be taken care by the scientists or scientific managers. They will take decision that which animal will be mated with which male will be mated with which female. As a consequence, recording of the traits and pedigree is complete. So because it is under the control of scientists, so all the things will go systematically. They will breed animals systematically, they will record it, and they will maintain the pedigree of these animals. The selection and mating in nucleus is under full control. We have already seen that this is fully controlled by the scientist or scientific managers. This result in a high genetic improvement rate over the generation because the breeding plan is meticulously planned, the performance are recorded. So in such scenario, there will be high genetic improvement because of the breeding management is done by the scientific managers. Then so this is the outline of nuclear breeding scheme. This is the outline for general nuclear breeding scheme, although I have written here as a closed nucleus breeding scheme, but this is true for both open and closed nucleus breeding scheme. There is slight difference that we will see in the later slides. So there are three tier or three level of herd in nucleus breeding scheme. The first one is the nucleus tier, second one is multiplier tier, and third one is the commercial tier. So about nucleus tier, we have already seen it will consist of the superior females, and the control, management control, breeding management or the other scientific management will be under the control of scientist. And also all the animals will be performance recorded, and there will be more genetic improvement in this nucleus tier. Then second one is the multiplier tier. So from nucleus tier, animals, whatever animal will be produced in nuclear tier, they will move to the multiplier tier. The purpose of multiplier tier is to multiply the superior genotype obtained from nucleus tier as much as we want, and that too rapidly, so that it can be transferred to the commercial tier, because in commercial tier is the end use level that is used by the farmers. That means कि commercial tier is actually a farmer's herd. So the genotype will be multiplied, superior genotype will be multiplied in multiplier tier, and it will be transmitted into the commercial tier. So this is the basic structure of nucleus breeding scheme. We will see what is the structure or what is the difference between closed and open nucleus breeding scheme. So the next is the closed nucleus breeding scheme. Once the breeding animals for nucleus are chosen at start, so this point is very important. Once you have selected breeding animal that to be the part of nucleus herd, then after that you cannot add any other animal into the nucleus herd. So once the breeding animal for the nucleus are chosen at start, no animal from outside the nucleus are added to nucleus population. So outside entry will be completely restricted in nucleus herd. It is also called as closed nucleus breeding program. So when in nucleus herd entry of outside animal is completely restricted, such kind of nucleus breeding scheme is known as closed breeding scheme. Why closed? Because the entry of any other animal in nucleus herd is restricted. This is commonly practiced in pigs and poultry in order to avoid introduction of disease in nucleus herd. So we know that pigs and poultry are highly susceptible to disease. The pig farming and poultry farming, the major threat is the spread of disease. So for improvement of pigs and poultry, if we are going for nucleus breeding scheme, we have to go for closed nucleus breeding scheme, because in open nucleus breeding scheme there is every chance of introduction of disease into nucleus herd, and that will be propagated into the subsequent herds. So this was the closed nucleus breeding scheme. Now we will see. So the another one is that in closed nucleus breeding scheme, gene flow is only in one direction. That means the gene is flowing from nucleus herd to multiplier herd, and from multiplier herd to commercial herd. So there is only one way of gene flow. The improvement made in nucleus herd will get transmitted to the multiplier herd and then to the commercial herd. So whatever improvement we are getting in nucleus herd, that from nucleus herd animal will be moved to the multiplier herd. So improvement will go into the multiplier herd, and from multiplier herd to the commercial herd. So in that way the gene flow is in only one direction. Then improvement in nucleus herd is must. So if there is no improvement in nucleus herd, there will not be any improvement in the subsequent herds. So transfer of genetic progress from one herd to next is taking certain time, and this is known as improvement lag. So whatever animal, the animals will be transmitted. So whatever animal will be produced in nucleus herd, they will be transmitted into multiplier herd for multiplication. But it will take certain time. And this time will be known as improvement lag. So whatever time it is taking to get transmitted from one tier or one herd to another herd, this time is called as improvement lag. Okay, so this improvement lag is also an important term that is sometime it may be asked in your examination. So the next is open nucleus breeding scheme. So in cattle and buffalo breeding, large generation interval is very big hurdle. So in cattle buffalo we know the generation interval is very large. Particularly our indigenous animal, the generation interval is more in comparison to the crossbred animal. So improvement of these animals is depending upon the generation interval. Suppose a breeder is willing to improve a particular uh, population of indigenous animal till he get desired improvement, either he will be retired from the job or he may be died. So this generation interval is a big hurdle. So what scientists thought that if artificial breeding techniques are employed to reduce the generation interval, it will be very helpful. So what are the artificial breeding techniques? These are the artificial insemination, MOET. MOET means multiple ovulation embryo transfer. A multiple ovulation embryo transfer, about which we will see in the coming slides. These can be significantly counter this problem. So we should employ the artificial insemination, multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology. So we know that artificial insemination has been employed to certain extent in the field condition also, but MOET is still that much progress has not been achieved. So this gives an opportunity to produce large number of offspring from superior sire and dam and disseminating the genes of these superior animals widely into the commercial herd. So with MOET we will produce large number of offspring in commercial nucleus herd as well as in commercial herd, and these can be subsequently transmitted into the commercial herd for end utilization. So in this way we can get improvement in shorter duration of time. So this is the advantage of use of MOET, and this MOET is generally employed in open nucleus breeding scheme. So this is the structure of open nucleus breeding scheme. It is similar to the closed nucleus breeding scheme, or the basic structure is same. Here the only difference is that the gene flow is two-way. Gene flow is in either way. That means the genes are flowing from nucleus tier to multiplier tier and from multiplier tier to commercial herd. In the reverse way, you can say that it is transmitting from commercial herd to multiplier herd and from multiplier herd to nucleus herd, because sometime you will see that in commercial herd, that means at farmer's herd you will get certain outstanding animal, and you will like to utilize this outstanding animal to the full extent. So what we will do, we will bring this animal to the nucleus herd and we will multiply this animal in the multiplier herd in a larger extent, and then more and more number of progeny will be further introduced into the commercial herd, so that more improvement will be obtained in less duration of time. And these animal will be introduced to nucleus herd because in nucleus herd we know that better animals are available. In nucleus herd better animals are available. Okay, so in nucleus herd, suppose this animal is male. So in nucleus herd you are having better female. So better female crossed with better male will produce better progeny, so that we can utilize this potential of this animal to full extent. So this was the nucleus breeding scheme. So what are the properties? When the estimated breeding value of females, which animal will be transmitted from commercial or multiplier herd to nucleus herd, that also we have to decide. So what is the decision criteria? When the estimated breeding value of female, estimated breeding value, we know what is breeding value. So when the estimated breeding value of females in commercial herd is comparable or higher, when it is higher than the breeding value of nucleus herd. So when a particular animal is having breeding value greater than the animals of nucleus herd, such animal will be transmitted into the nucleus herd. So this is called as open nucleus breeding program. Here gene flow is in both way, which reduces the rate of inbreeding. This program will also reduce the rate of inbreeding in the nucleus herd. We know that in nucleus there are few superior animals. And if the nucleus is closed, that means ki only few genotype will interact among themselves. That means ki mating will be taken place between only those few genotypes. So in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 generation, it will develop certain kind of inbreeding. So in order to avoid this inbreeding, you have to introduce the fresh germplasm. That is, in open nucleus breeding scheme, we are introducing the fresh germplasm from the commercial or multiplier herd. So in this way, we can check the rate of inbreeding in nucleus herd. So it is mostly used in cattle, buffalo and sheep, where the generation interval is high and which is not susceptible to not that much susceptible to the transmission of disease. This scheme is mostly run by group of breeders and can be established as cooperative breeding scheme. This is also another term for open nucleus breeding scheme, that is cooperative breeding scheme, because suppose there is an outstanding animal in farmer herd and we want to procure that animal for introduction it into the nucleus herd, and if farmer refuse to give this animal, then our purpose for establishing of open nucleus breeding scheme will be defeated. So for that we need cooperation among the farmers. That is why this open nucleus breeding scheme is called as cooperative breeding scheme. And also in country like India, you will not get superior female at one place. So we have to unite the farmers who are having superior female or the females who are having more than the average performance of the herd. So that all these superior animals can be clubbed together to form nucleus herd. Here there is great chance of disease transmission in the nucleus herd that we have already discussed. Now we have to see the association of multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology that we have already introduced it, multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology. So we have to associate the multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology with the nucleus breeding scheme, particularly the open nucleus breeding scheme. So this MOET is a composite procedure. So there are so many procedures involved in the MOET. You might have studied this MOET in your physiology classes, and you will further study this into your gynecology courses. Here, because this is mostly related with the gynecology, so there you will see in the actual procedure of MOET. Here, as a breeder's point of view, I will introduce and I will tell the procedure in brief how this MOET is performed along with nucleus breeding scheme. So it will involve first superovulation. What is superovulation? In this scheme, there are two types of animal will be involved. First one is donor and another one is recipient. So two type of animals, this donors, group of donors, and then recipients, group of recipients. So this a donor group and recipient group. So donor will give eggs, that means ovum. They will produce ovum, and this ovum will be fertilized with the appropriate semen of appropriate sire, and after the fertilization the embryo developed will be transferred into the recipient uterus. So this is the actual procedure in brief. The first we have to superovulate. So what is purpose of this method is to produce more number of progeny from a particular female in a single generation. We know that a particular female can produce only one or two progeny in one generation. Here, with the help of superovulation can be done with the help of certain hormonal treatment that you will see in the that will you study in the gynecology classes. So superovulation, we will administer hormone into the animal's body, and the animal will superovulate. The donor will superovulate, and it will produce more than one or two ovum. So there will be more number of production of ovum. Then this ovum you have to fertilize with the semen of appropriate sire that you have already selected based on the performance of that sire. Now after this fertilization, this ovum after fertilization will convert into embryo, and the embryo will be transferred into the recipient uterus. So for that you have to make sure that both this donor and recipient are at same stage of estrus cycle. For this you have to do the estrus synchronization among the recipient. So you have to make all the recipient animal, you have to synchronize the estrus cycle of the recipient animal with the help of certain hormones. Then AI of the donors, I have already mentioned, the donor will produce superovulate, and they will produce more ovum, and that will be we will perform AI with the semen of appropriate sire. Then after AI it will be developed into embryo. That embryo will be recovered from the donor. There are certain instruments that also you will see in the gynecology classes. From that instruments you will collect the embryo from donor, and after collection the embryo will be transplanted into the genital system of a uterus of recipient. So embryo transfer in the recipient female. This is the basic structure of multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology in animals. By using this technique, about 8 progeny. So this is also important. By using this technique, about 8 progeny from donor cow can be obtained. In normal cases, we may obtain either 1 or 2 animals, 2 progeny from a cow or buffalo. So what are the common features of multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology? So with the use of, we have already seen some of the picture, just we will revise it here. An elite herd of male and female is set up and selection made at early age based on the family information. So with the help of MOET, we can establish an elite herd. How? Because we are producing, we may produce more number of superior male and female in short interval of time. So there will be establishment of allied herd in short interval of time, and we can further select animals from that allied herd based on the information available from the family of those animals, because we are creating family in shorter duration of time. Suppose in general, in normal way, to get the record of family, you have to wait for 2-3 generations so that all the family information, or we have to wait for longer duration of time so that all the family information could be obtained. Then generation interval is consecutively reduced. We have already seen that in one generation we are getting more number of progeny, so it will be reduced. Further, intensity of selection will be high. How this intensity of selection will be high? Because initially we were choosing or selecting males from, suppose, this 6 animals. 6 animals, 1 animal is getting selected. But in case of MOET, after application of MOET, there will be more number of animals available, and we are selecting from this more number of animal, 1 animals are getting selected. So definitely here intensity of selection will be high. So the rate of twinning also, there are many modification of MOET where you are splitting the embryo in either 1, 2, 3, 4, so that twinning or more number of progeny can be obtained in single gestation. As well as you can employ the sexing of embryo. By this method you can produce the progeny of your desired sex. This sexing of embryo is nowadays in very much practice, and it is now the government of India has also realized that sexing of embryo or sexing sex semen is essential to produce only female animals so that male animals can be avoided. So these are the common features of multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology. Then there are certain types of multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology. These types of embryo transfer technology is based on the age of selection. So age at which animals are getting selected. When we are selecting animals at younger age, or we can say that at childhood age, then it is called as juvenile MOET. When we are selecting at adult stage, then it is called as adult MOET scheme. And when animals are getting selected both at adult age as well as juvenile stage, then it is called as mixed or hybrid MOET scheme. So these are the three different types of MOET based on the age of selection of the animal. So these were the types of MOET, and with this we have finished the nuclear breeding scheme. So in conclusion, we can say that nucleus breeding scheme is a type of breeding scheme where we can conserve the animal which are threatened, as well as we can get improvement in the herd, particularly those herds which are having very few animals. So this is a kind of cooperative breeding scheme which can be employed in a country like India, where animals are spread into very small units. So I think this nucleus breeding scheme is clear to you. Thank you.